Is brought to you by Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk as JT Ginn takes the field in the Sacramento Golds. 80 degrees outside, 11-mile-per-hour winds, 38% humidity, and we have been treated to yet another very comfortable night at the ballpark.
It sure has been a nice string of great weather and some great baseball as well, my friend.
Here is the starting lineup for the Angels, brought to you by your Bay Area Chevrolet dealers. It starts with number 9, Zach Neto, leading off for the Halos, then Shawnuel and Grissom. Adele is the cleanup hitter. Wade Meckler bats 5th. Then Guzman Walton gets the start at second base, batting 7th. Siri and Tyler Heineman, his first start as an Angel.
And the man on the mound tonight for the green and gold, rocking the gold, JT Ginn. Shooter! It's going to be his 14th start of the season. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I got to believe that if he continues to throw the baseball the way he has here down the stretch of the first half, we could very well see JT Ginn in Philly during the Midsummer Classic. I know he's got my vote, Chris, and I think the numbers speak for themselves. 77 in the third innings under the belt of the right-hander, a sub-3 ERA. He's got a dynamic arsenal, a big-time super sinker we're looking forward to seeing tonight.
And he will trust this defense behind him tonight. Soderstrom in left, Bolte in center, Butler in right. Muncy gets the start at third base. Wilson and Geloff up the middle at short and second. Then Kurtz is the first baseman with Langeliers behind the plate. And JT Ginn on the mound against the Angels yet again. And here he is.
Hey. Here he is. Good to see Mark Kotze back on the bench and in the dugout.
JT Ginn is ready to go. And he will wind up the first pitch. We are underway with a strike. It's 7:06 local. So Zach Neto, 1 for 8 on this series, does have a home run, as well as a run batted in with that solo home run. And he'll ground this deep in the hole. Short diving play by Wilson. Gets to his feet. Strong throw to first. And he got him. That's how we start the ball game.
I tell you what, you can see the look on Jay Willie's face. He and Neto have had some back and forth. Neto letting him know he's not too happy about it as he just stares down his counterpart. But Jacob Wilson, right off the bat, a great step in the hole. And I tell you, what's really nice to see, Chris, is you see how he pops himself up off the ground. He's got to be able to utilize that left shoulder, the shoulder that landed him on the injured list. But because he has an absolute canyon for an arm, able to pop up and hose Neto, and he made it look really, really easy. What a play. And look, there's a reason why you feel pretty comfortable when the ball's headed in the direction of Jacob Wilson. 86 ball games he's gone without a miscue. Just fantastic.
Waving a miss from Shawnuel on the changeup. And for a starting pitcher like Ginn, who has executed so well getting the ball on the ground, it's just another thing to keep him confident when your defense makes plays like that immediately out of the gate.
Well, and look, a ball like that hit where it doesn't leave the infield, but it's in the hole and it results in a base runner. There's just a little more frustration to it than giving up just your average normal single.
Umpiring crew tonight, Dan Bellino, the crew chief, will be calling balls and strikes. Mark Ripperger at first, Shane Livensparger at second, and Dan Merzel will complete the quartet at third. Shawnuel got the start last night, did have a home run in the 11-run Angels performance. He'll take up and in, and Shea Langeliers deploying an ABS challenge here early. He thinks it's a strike.
The catcher is challenged.
Well, I mean, this was a really good pitch. I mean, just because of the flinch of Shawnuel, I think that may have sold Bellino in a different direction.
Pitch for strike.
But Shawnuel, ticket punch, that ABS challenge powered by T-Mobile. And with Dan Bellino behind the plate, let's get to know him just a bit more. Remember, this is a practicing lawyer here, so we can understand if there's going to be some politicking going on. He very well may hear you out, but he probably doesn't really care what you have to say. He's also the current president of the MLB Umpires Association. Bit of a low ball umpire, which plays into JT Ginn's hand. Has been overturned on 59.4% of the challenges. And I tell you that to tell you this, as Grissom takes strike one. The MLB average overturn rate for umpires, 53%. So Dan Bellino just a bit above average.
This one's popped up And out of play for Vaughn Grissom, who did not play in the second game of this series, did start game one at first base, where he went 1 for 3 in the Athletics' 5-0 victory. But the talk of the town, the talk of baseball right now, is the improbable 7-run comeback, 8 unanswered runs to win and walk it off in the bottom of the 10th against an Angels team that commanded the pace for almost the entirety of the game.
Well, if you felt like it was something you've never seen before, is it was because it was something that had never happened in baseball, Chris. A team hitting 5 homers, scoring 7 runs in an inning with a lead of 7 or more, and losing the ball game. Never happened before in baseball history.
Ins 1-2, a swing and a miss. High heat. And Grissom is down on strikes. A 1-2-3 inning for the shooter. Time for the A's offense when we come back.
Or
well, a scoreless first for JT Ginn turns it over to the A's offense. Their starting lineup brought to you by your Bay Area Chevrolet dealers. It's Kurtz, the big man, leading off. And then Langeliers, Soderstrom, and Wilson with Heim, Butler, Polte, Muncy, and McNeil.
Well, it looks like Walbert Urena is going to have to do a little housekeeping.
Is it more than that? Now Mike Maddox and Kurt Suzuki are out. So as you can see, the A's lineup will stack up like this. Kurtz leads off, then Langeliers, Soderstrom, Wilson, Heim, Butler, Polte, Muncy, and McNeil. Geloff gets the day. They will go with a slugging left-handed hitter to lead off against the righty Walbert Urena.
Well, and what they had Urena take off, what they had him remove, was the headband underneath the hat of Urena. And, you know, just understanding kind of how stuff like that goes, that could be a fire that didn't necessarily need to be lit, and we'll see how that turns out, because Urena...
Line drive right center field. That is a rifle to right center. And he will pull up at second base. A first pitch double for Kurtz. And the A's offense staying alive here in game 3.
Well, Nick Kurtz up there ready to hit. And against a guy like Urena, you better be. Because he's got some serious weapons to fire at you. We talked about the big-time fastballs that he's got. He's got a devastating changeup. It's now the 21st straight game that Nick Kurtz has found his way on base. So you see the headband underneath with the flag of the Dominican Republic, and saying that may show on the side, and from a hitter perspective, if that's something that they pick up and that they can see, it could be a bit distracting.
Would it be different if it was a different color other than white?
Yep. If it was red, there'd be no problem. If it was black, there'd be no problem.
So here's Langeliers, a .349 hitter with nobody out. See those 19 home runs, 6th in the American League. He has Kurtz immediately in scoring position. 1-1 pitch is swung on and fouled off. I know you were witness to a battle in mid-May in Los Angeles. Ginn against Urena, round 1. The Angels eventually won the game, but as Steve Sax said, for both pitchers they were excellent, but JT Ginn outpitched Urena in terms of length. 8 innings.
He did. He was fantastic.
1-2, high chopper to third. Guzman waits back on the hop, throws to first, and one is away. The defense for Anaheim looks like this tonight. Meckler in left, Siri in center, Adele in right. Guzman and Shanoel on the corners, Neto and Walton up the middle, and Tyler Heineman in harness for the Angels, as Walbert Urena addresses this ballpark for the first time. pitch to Soderstrom. He will take for a strike on a changeup. 0-1.
And I think with a guy like Urena featuring the two fastballs that he does, both high octane with a little arm side life, even to that four-seamer, but that sinker. Look out. Like he just cut that four-seamer. But his changeup is so good enough that he can throw that first pitch first time through as he backs up Tyler Soderstrom.
That hit him. That got him this time. Clipped him up and in with a fastball, but just grazed Soderstrom first and second with just one out.
Time now for StatCast, powered by Google Cloud. Take a look at the toolbox of Robert Urena. That's the kind of velocity he's working with. You got the four-seam fastball and that sinker that I talked about, both 97, 98. That changeup coming in anywhere from 90, 92. We've seen it about at 88 at times. That sweeping slider at 86, 87. So you got your four-pitch mix. Two of those four great fastballs.
Here's Wilson. You touched on it last night. It's his bobblehead day, so good things are bound to happen, right? Went 2 for 5 last night in the winning effort for the A's. Had 2 extra base hits, including a 2-run home run and 3 RBIs.
Had a great play to start this ball game.
1-0. Line drive into center. In comes Siri. It drops down underneath his glove. Crosby will stop Kurtz. And the bases are now loaded for Jonah Heim. Now a 7-game hitting streak for Wilson. He wasted no time, and he's aboard.
Go to work, Jacob Wilson. Willie just cutting a 97-mile-an-hour sinker middle right in half. You can see it start to slice and sink. Siri, who made a hard charge at the ball, was not going to be able to come up with it, not even on the short hop. And Nick Kurtz kind of hung up a bit. You're not sure if Siri's going to be able to get to it. He reroutes, gets over to third, and a good job, frankly, on the back end there with Tyler Soderstrom coming around second base, who was able to hold up. The last thing you want to do is get caught in between second and third with Nick Kurtz not going anywhere and run yourself into an out. So a good job of kind of holding up and being able to get back. Now you got bags juiced, and it's Heim time.
First pitch, a wave and a miss on that changeup. 0-1. We remember what he did last night. Down to their final out. A pinch hit, 2-run home run to tie the game at 11 and keep the A's chances alive, where they eventually won.
Well, that wasn't the first time. This high roller is brought to you by Circa Resort and Casino. Remember, in Las Vegas against the Brewers, stepped up, A's needing life, and they got it from Jonah Heim. And then last night, a similar spot, runner on, and he would come up big time.
Time now for Getting It Done, presented by the Home Depot. Most pinch hit home runs in the 9th inning or later since 1968. Well, Jonah Heim joins a great list that features A's hitting coach Mike Aldrete twice, and the Angel manager Kurt Suzuki.
And an old fan favorite, John Jaso.
1-2 pitch, a wave and a miss on a high fastball. Urena gets out number 2 and his first strikeout of the night.
And this is what makes Urena so dangerous. Even with traffic out there, Chris, he has a couple different decisions he can make to get himself out of a tight spot. Goes to the four-seamer, able to beat Heim to a spot, at least this time around.
Lawrence is batting .391 over his last 7, seeing it well. The bases are loaded for the A's. First pitch low and inside, 1 ball and no strikes. Kurtz at third, Soderstrom at second, and Wilson at first, with Butler at the plate. The infield shifted to the right. Now 2 balls and no strikes. You remember last night, Dallas, Lawrence Butler in that 9th inning, he was on the baseball, ended up grounding out to end the inning, but it looked like maybe he would have had a walk-off home run in his back pocket.
So close. He had a couple homers foul.
3 balls and no strikes. Now you run the risk of walking a runner home with the bases loaded. It's Kurtz at third. Not an unfamiliar situation for the A's, as that's how the game ended last night. A walk-off walk. Urena has to fire in a strike. 3-0. It is a strike, 3-1. Tap to third, Guzman charges. This will end the inning for the A's offense. They put 3 on, but are unable to score. Nothing. Let's go to the second. The game's on the NBC Sports app, brought to you by Toyota. Into the second inning. A's fans all about after the very impressive, improbable victory last night. We have no score in the top of the second inning. Chris Carey, Dallas Braden. And there's Adele lining it to right center. That's going to drop and kick up against the wall. Bolte gets to it quickly, throws in. And a stand-up double for Joe Adele, his first hit of the series.
Well, Chris, last night, as I said, was one for the ages. First team in Major League Baseball history to hit 5 or more homers, have a 7 or more run inning, and have a 7 or more run lead, and lose the game. I mean, you want to talk about tough to do? It had never been done before. We've been playing this game for a long time.
And there's been 125 years of the A's. Some clubs even more time than that. So think about that.
I mean, it's just, and that's why I know some people, you know, they say it with a sheepish grin, and you kind of laugh and joke about it. But that's what's great about showing up to the ballpark each and every day, is you just never know what you're going to see. Last comeback win when trailing by 7 or more, we talked about it in the Open, July 24, 2018. That was at Texas. They were down by 8 at the time. The third time the A's have come back from down 7 versus the Angels and won. Third time against this team.
Again, spins it low on a changeup, 3 balls and no strikes. Wade Meckler, a .375 hitter with runners in scoring position. He has Adele at second with no score. .30 pitch. It is high, and Meckler will walk. You remember how the game started last night, Dallas? The A's scored the first 4 runs of the game, then a 7-run top of the 4th inning made it 7-4. After that point, the Angels scored 3 and then another 1 to make it 11-4 before the A's, starting in the 6th inning, scored 8 unanswered runs to win the game.
Just incredible.
Now it's Denzer Guzman.
You know, and I think that's why when I started to look at where we were at in the lineup, right around, what, the 6th, 7th inning, and I said, look, if Jacob Wilson takes an at-bat in the 9th inning, we're going to win this ballgame. And it felt like in the moment that it could have very well happened in that 9th inning. I mean, it was Heim who hit the third of 3 2-run homers in consecutive innings to put the ball game where it was.
Gins 0-2, a wave and a miss. There's a strikeout, 1 down.
Nasty slider, just disappears. JT Ginn As far as the American League goes, only Cam Schlittler better with runners in scoring position in terms of batting average against. 140 for JT Ginn.
Snap throw to second. Wilson has to scamper over and block the baseball. And everyone stays put for the moment. 1 ball and no strikes to Donovan Walton.
Well, you see Adele start to creep out and took a little jab step towards third. And I think that right there is what convinced Langoliers to come up slinging.
Walton enjoying a nice start to his year in the big leagues. .323 with 2 home runs and 7 runs batted in 62 at-bats. He'll swing and miss on a changeup.
Garcam all over it.
Good block, really good block by Langoliers. 2-1.
It looks like a changeup. Man, looks like it may have even come close to catching Shea under that mask.
Walton in his 23rd game this year at the big league level. 2 more after today, and he will tie his career high for games played at the major league level in a season. He'll line that into right field, a base hit. Adele is being sent home. He will score. Moving to third, Meckler, and Donovan Walton opens up the scoring for Anaheim. 1-0 Angels.
Well, Walton gets a little cutter that just kind of sat up right over the heart of the strike zone. And you can see Lawrence having to take a few steps to get over there to his left and cut that ball off. Adele was going to score easily with the ground that Lawrence Butler had to cover in right. Meckler goes first to third.
Jose Siri shows bunt, tries to lay it down as the infield began to crash in, but it goes foul. Siri .286 on the year, 4 home runs, 15 runs batted in, and has batted .290 against right-handed pitching. He's enjoying a nicer year, albeit a smaller sample size.
Sure.
Kurtz holds on the runner Walton at first, and Ginn goes that way. Well, for the Angels, it's important that they score first. They've lost 5 of their last 6 games played. Too far in.
Well, and you know, even if you score first, you score early in the ball game. I mean, I think last night proves that you have to be able to put together offense over the entire course of a ball game.
Or do what the A's did and score the first 2 or 3 innings of the game and then score the final 4 innings of the game, 4 or 5 innings of the game, leave the middle part out of the way, and how about just scoring 8 runs from the 6th inning on? Sounds normal.
Well, it'll get it done.
2-1 pitch. Sinker miss. 3-1 to Siri. Entering play tonight, Angels against JT Ginn. This current group, 6 for 31. That's a 194 average with a double, 2 home runs, and 3 runs batted in. Three and 1 to Siri. Got a piece, fouled it down. 3-2.
Siri started the at-bat with maybe the idea of trying to push the ball via bunt over to the right side. Maybe even a little thought of a safety squeeze, but now finds himself here 3-2. Be curious to see if they put Walton on the move over there at first.
3-2. Lifted to left. Soderstrom is underneath it, makes the catch. Tagging is Meckler. He will score 2-0. Sac fly for Siri, his 16th RBI of the year. And Tyler Heineman will come up for the first time as an Angel.
It'll be Heineman behind the plate tonight.
Came in as a defensive replacement last night, late in the game. Remember, he was traded from Toronto to these Angels on the 17th, just 3 days ago, in exchange for cash considerations, originally from Pacific Palisades. It's about 50 miles from Anaheim, now a lot closer to home.
Well, and something that was kind of lost in all the excitement of the ball game last night, made his debut yesterday, and he became the third player in franchise history to make his Angels debut on their birthday. Bert Blyleven in '89, former teammate of mine, Sweet Lou Merlone, did so in 2005, and then last night, Tyler Heineman.
Two balls and no strikes, 3-0. Again, just missing by a hair. 2 runs have come in to score off of 2 hits. And a sacrifice fly from Siri. Butkin has 2 outs. That'll work. Heineman, a big part of Toronto's World Series push last year.
And maybe not a huge, massive offensive presence, but you want to talk about a grinder behind the plate. I mean, this is one of the better defensive catchers in baseball.
Looped into right, Butler on the move, it's gonna drop. Moving to third, Walton. And Heineman goes to second base, so a double. And the Angels have him on second and third with 2 outs, and Neto coming up for a second time in as many innings.
Well, you said it, partner, just a little bit of a looping liner. Lawrence able to get over and cut it off just in time, but Walton coming around second. Got the stop sign, able to hit the brakes and hold up just in time. Scott Emerson out now with JT Ginn and Shea Langoliers. This meeting on the mound brought to you by the injury attorneys of Ashton and Price. Trying to minimize the damage done here in the second inning. You got 2 on, 2 out, both runners in scoring position. JT Ginn and company just trying to reel in this second inning.
It'll be the bottom of the order for the A's to come up in the bottom of the second. Bolte, Muncy, and McNeil. As Neto, who grounded out in the first inning to his counterpart Jacob Wilson, who made a tremendous play in the hole diving to his right, robbed him of a hit. There's a strike, high cutter, 0-1.
You know, it's always fun when players on opposing teams kind of have that friendly rivalry that you can see blossom in their time in the big leagues. Neto's going to ask JT Ginn to move the rosin bag a little further back, and there you go. I love a little gamesmanship. Urania.
There's a little bit of history here, too.
Sure. Urania, we're going to need you to take your headband off. All right, hey, you know what? Can you get that rosin bag out of the way? I think I can see a little too much of it.
He pops this up and out of play.
Remember, pretty good ball game for the A's up to this point. Zach Neto came up and delivered one of the biggest swings of his career.
Ginn's 0-2 pitch. High.
And I know you're thinking, Dallas, I mean, is that not a little hyperbolic there? Biggest swing of his career? I didn't say biggest, one of the biggest. But the fact that the game was in the situation that it was, JT Ginn getting ready to do what he was getting ready to do, and one swing changed it all. Eight innings, 2 hits, 2 runs, the 10 punch-outs for JT Ginn. Did get the complete game, but maybe not the way you wanted it.
Off the plate, 3-2. Now a payoff situation for JT Ginn. Got to be able to find the zone, or else Shonowell, who also has previously homered off of Ginn, coming up with the bases loaded. The payoff pitch. Too far in and up. Bases loaded. And now Shonowell coming to the plate. You noticing anything here in the second inning, Dallas, in terms of the sinker command?
Well, you see the ball strike total right now. More balls than strikes. That's never really any good. But I think for JT Ginn right now, it's just it's a few misfires, really. I mean, because there's been some egregious misses and there's been some nibbling, a combination of the two. You know, the misses just have not been quite as competitive as you would like. And I think what happens when that starts to occur is the opposition, they start to eliminate certain things in your arsenal and they start to look for one. And if they get it, that's why you see the good swings being taken.
Check swing. Did he go? No, he did not. It's close.
Let's take a peek from the side. As much as I don't want to, I think I may agree.
Shonowell 169 with runners in scoring position, 250 with the bases loaded. There's a strike, and Shonowell is going to challenge here.
Previous pitch is a strike. The batter has challenged.
We've seen some early challenges in this game.
Well, and we've seen some bad challenges
Pitch
in
is a
this
strike.
series,
Los
I think,
Angeles has one
by the
challenge
Angels.
remaining.
So for Shonowell, who struck out looking on an ABS challenge deployed by Langoliers last inning, now burns the first of the possible 2 challenges for Los Angeles. Two and one. Strike 2. He won't challenge there. Might have had more of a case there.
Well, 2 back-to-back close pitches. And losing one of them, you're probably not as quick to pull the trigger on the second one, especially in back-to-back pitches. Angels have done damage in spots just like this. 5 grand slams this season.
See what Ginn has at 2-2. From the stretch. His pitch to Shonowell is high. Now 3-2. Can't miss here. The base is loaded. Everyone will get a head start. As Jeff Hartley begins to warm up in the bullpen, Mark Leiter was put on the 15-day IL with hip issues. Three-two payoff pitch. Everyone going. Shonowell on the ground. Short hop. Kurt's going to have to flip it to the racing Ginn, and the inning is over. Nice play by the A's first baseman to keep it at just 2. Angels lead 2-0.
You can stream MLB Network 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Select out-of-market games every week, plus live radio broadcast of every ball game, game day 3D, big inning, and minor league action, all on MLB Plus. Visit MLB.com/MLB Plus to subscribe today and get more baseball in your life.
So it's Bolte to lead off the bottom of the second inning. Angels up 2-0. After a 2-run inning where a lot of hitters came up to the plate against JT Ginn. In fact, 8 hitters came up. 2 runs off of 3 hits, a pair of walks, a sacrifice fly. Bolte takes high, 1 ball and no strikes.
Well, you'd like to stay up and hit a while, my friend. I think that helped JT Ginn reset, maybe get yourself on the scoreboard.
Bolte 2 for 4 on this series. Had a 3-walk performance last night, got on base a lot, 4 times out of his 5 trips to the plate. Ended up going 1 for 2 with 3 walks. And for Henry, he's on a 3-game hitting streak, but it doesn't stop there. A .354 average over his last 15 games of play.
Well, and the .317 average leads all rookies in baseball, not just the American League. And I think something that has gone overlooked, and maybe it's because there was some anticipation of more power productivity from Bolte, which we know will come. But when you put together the type of patient at-bats that have resulted in opportunities for him to get on base and in scoring position, that's what impresses me most about young players that are able to come up and display control of the strike zone. Just having a feel for pitches they can get to, pitches they can't, laying off pitches that might be strikes but they know they can't put a good swing on.
3-2. That one was right down the middle, caught looking, 1 away.
Yeah, sinker that just starts a little off.
Well, Max Muncy gets a start at third base. He had a massive swing last night off the bench. Pinch hit. And it was a tank.
Indeed. To the big part of the yard. Up onto the groundskeeper shed. I mean, my goodness.
I'm sure fans at home are wondering why Zach Geloff isn't in the lineup. He came to the ballpark and he was not feeling himself after that almost disastrous hit by pitch late into the game yesterday that hit him in the head.
Yeah, I tell you, Chris, if I get drilled in the face like that, I'm probably still laying on the ground near home plate. But Geloff, thank goodness the C-flap on the helmet took the brunt of this. It ended up rattling around in the cage a bit, meaning it hit the bill of his hat, but Geloff immediately popped up, gave the thumbs up. And I think in the heat of the moment, your adrenaline coursing through your veins, the excitement, we know, number one, how tough this dude is, but the type of competitor he is.
Weekly grounded up to third. Guzman throws to first, off balance, nice play.
So in the moment, there was no surprise, I think, that Geloff not only got to his feet as quickly as he did, but also just kind of signaling, hey, I'm good to go, I'm all right. Very nice play by Guzman. The two-hand gather, throw on the run.
McNeil started the game last night, went 0 for 2, and then was lifted. Muncy pinch hit for him and then had that 2-run home run. Ended up going 1 for 3, did Muncy off the bench. Jeff sporting the high socks today, much like his bobblehead recipient teammate Jacob Wilson. I wonder if that's by design.
A little nod to the young fella.
2 fouled away.
Saying, look, if the high socks got hits in them, guess what? We're going to give it a go.
You ever a high sock guy on the mound?
I was a high sock guy on the mound until the white cleats became a
defensive swing, grounded to first, rounding it Shanoel, covering Urena in a 1-2-3 inning for the Angels defense. They lead 2-0 through 2. True baseball fans need Wi-Fi that's so reliable it never gets caught looking. Xfinity Internet keeps you in the game at one price for 5 years and allows you to get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. Xfinity. Imagine that. Well, 2-0 Halos, top of the third inning. A capacity crowd yet again for the Jacob Wilson bobblehead giveaway night. See the Sacramento Golds on, and Vaughn Grissom is up against Skin, who's hoping for a much more efficient third as compared to the long second. Grissom struck out swinging against Ginn in the first, and Ginn quickly gets ahead with 2 strikes.
Well, this is what Kotz was talking about. Fill it up. Right? Get back in there, attack. You know you got great stuff that you can work in the zone.
He was talking about that pregame in the scrum, just about JT Ginn's ability to attack the zone, and he does so there. A strikeout. And moments ago, speaking of the manager, Dallas caught up with Mark Kotze.
All right, fans, I'm with the A's skipper, Mark Kotze. Kotz, glad you can make it by tonight. I'd like to talk to you about what we saw from JT Ginn. Great first inning, a little bumpy second inning. What do you need to see from the right-hander to get himself back on track tonight against the Halos?
Yeah, I think that second inning, he shied away from the zone a little bit. You know, we talk a lot about JT being in the zone to pitch out of the zone. So that's the focus, I think, going back out is to be competitive, let your stuff work in the zone and play itself out. So, you know, overall, I think he managed the inning as well as he could. Kept it to 2 and kept us in the game.
I think we saw some perseverance. We saw some resilience and grit from the offensive side of things last night. Got a pretty good arm in Walbert Urena out there tonight. What do you need to see from this lineup to get to that right-hander?
Yeah, really good fastball changeup mix, right? It's a 10-mile-an-hour difference. He's disrupting the timing, but, you know, try to get on the fastball. Do your best to stay through the middle and stay on the changeup.
Kotz, as always, thanks for the time.
All right.
So attacking the zone, the name of the game. And Adell tips the cutter into Shea's glove, 2-1. He doubled and later scored the 2-run second last inning. That is his first hit in 9 chances this series. He was hitless in his previous 4 games. Works it in on his hands. The sinker fouled off, 2-2. Seen anything different from JT Ginn this inning as compared to the second?
I think that's it, attacking, right? And that's what I think that's, as you pointed out, Chris, what Kotz talked about pregame, what we kind of heard him mention in that chit chat there that I had with him was, yeah, I would just need to see him get back into the strike zone, maybe nibbling a little bit, but the fact that he also was able to minimize the damage, that inning could have very well gotten away from him.
2-2. Lifted in the air to right. Butler moving on. Full sprint, and it will drop. Ball hung up in the air for a long time, but Butler unable to get there, and Adell now has a 2-for-2 evening.
Well, this ball well off the plate, and Adell able to go down and still make contact, but you saw the route of Lawrence Butler, who was rounding the ball, and then as that ball died, realized he was going to have to break into it, just maybe not able to do so in time. That ball able to fall for Adell.
Wade Meckler walked last inning and scored. He has Adell at first. Kurtz holds on Adell. Wilson shading the second base bag at short, and Muncy in and off at third. Down low, 2-0. That'll do, strike one. There is something to be said about base runners getting aboard, what it does to the mind of a pitcher, how you attack hitters differently. For JT Ginn, In his last handful of starts, you haven't seen a lot of base runners against him, just in general.
Well, what it does for you, and I think JT Ginn is one of the guys, and frankly, the man on the mound tonight, there are exceptions to the rule, and anytime you have the ability to generate ground balls at the rate that JT Ginn does, you feel pretty good about being able to make a pitch and get the result that you're after.
2-1 into center, base hit. Adell will stop at second. So Meckler, who's been a .318 one-out hitter, adds to that total. Back-to-back singles, and Denzer Guzman is coming up.
Looks like a changeup that just stays up, and I think that's unfortunately kind of been the theme. We saw it last night, and really we saw it on both sides last night, and more times than not, that's going to be the reason or the difference between a ball getting topped and a ball being driven is the height of the pitch. I mean, look at what Adell was able to do, right? The ball was down, well off the plate, and you see the result, just kind of a weak fly ball, as opposed to what you saw there from Meckler, who able to hit a line drive on a pitch that was elevated as opposed to down. And frankly, Chris, that's what makes these hitters today so good at what they do. Well, what do we got?
Is Guzman saying it might have hit him?
I think that's what Guzman was wondering was, hey, I mean, that clipped me. Anybody want to take a look at that? No? All right, keep it moving.
First and second, one out, 2-0 count to Guzman, who homered for the first time this year. Last night in the very large fourth inning of offense. Let's go back to that pitch against Guzman where he thought it hit him. Did it go off the bat or his hand?
Well, it's a sinker, and that's a foul ball.
And it wasn't called. That's unfortunate.
Well, and what's really weird is that neither guy, being Shea Langoliers nor Dan Bellino, would have heard that. And
4-pitch walk, bases loaded again.
man, that is tough. That is tough. Scott Emerson coming out now. This meeting on the mound brought to you by the injury attorneys of Ashton and Price. I'm going to show you again. You're going to see the barrel dump during the take, and you're going to watch it get fouled right into the glove of Langoliers. You can see it right off the bat.
The bat reverberates.
Well, it's a combination of the sound, right? You can hear the sound because tracking the ball in, you anticipate. Now watch right here. You're going to see it just check down, boop, right into the glove.
Seems weird that both of them missed that.
Well, look at Langoliers. Langoliers, the way that he looks at the ball and is like, oh, I caught it. That was kind of funky.
So Walton, who had an RBI single, is up again and swinging on the first pitch. Ground ball. Kurtz is coming home. They get him there. Fielder's choice play, 3-2 in your scorebook. They get the lead runner at the plate. There's the second out. But it's Jose Siri now who had a sacrifice fly last inning.
And I think Kurtz's telling JT Ginn, get down, shooter. Look out. Because he almost took a pair of lips with him. I mean, JT Ginn was inches away from wearing lipstick, man. That was going to be dangerously close.
Smart play by the young first baseman Kurtz too. Probably wouldn't have had a chance for two had he gone to second.
No, that was going to be the only play.
Now Siri spins it back foul. Is that the closest to us this year?
I think so. But speaking of close, I mean, JT Ginn, get down. I mean, that is right over the head / neck of JT Ginn.
Busted bat, bouncer. Kurtz plays it, takes it himself. It remains 2-0. Ginn deals with the traffic. Top of the order coming up for the A's.
The beepers on him, and that means it's a great deal for you. That's right, A's fans. For a limited time, score this walk offer. That's Sunday, July 19th. Green and Gold host the Washington Nationals. Don't let this offer walk away from you. You can lock in your $16 tickets right now at athletics.com/flash sale.
I love the walk offer.
I'm into it. Why not?
Kurtz doubled his first time up. Saw one pitch and hammered into the right center field alley. So he starts a new hitting streak after snapping his 11-game hitting streak last night with a 4 strikeout performance, but he did have the last laugh after the walk-off RBI walk. He's late to the party on a changeup there, 1-2. For all the ways the game ended last night, I don't think walk-off walk was really what I was thinking.
Not on your bingo card?
No.
Well, if it was, you were the big winner. A's were the big winner last night. Fastball elevated. Otero wanted it. Said, well, sorry, too late. You're out of him.
3 balls and 2 strikes. Second time through. Now another look at Ureña. Three-two pitch. Kurtz waves and misses. That is a nasty changeup. Pulled the string on him. Got a good result.
Well, the changeup, the great equalizer. It's the biggest liar in baseball. And I mean, this pitch, a ton of depth, but it's sold by the arm speed. And you can see the swing of the big fella just kind of broken down because you got to gear up for 98, 99. Mark Kotze talked about the 10-mile-an-hour separation on the fastballs and changeup. You just saw it firsthand.
Shea grounded out to third on a nice play by the third baseman Denzer Guzman. Now Heineman goes out. We'll have a discussion with the starter Walbert Ureña. And this meeting on the mound is brought to you by the injury attorneys of Ashton and Price. Very quick meeting at that. It's been much smoother in his last 9 as compared to his first 4, Walbert Ureña.
Sometimes you just got to get it going. And Ureña has clearly done so.
He's navigating against an A's offense that's hit 12 home runs on this homestand and have won 8 of their last 12 overall. Across those 12 games, 34 home runs hit.
Well,
Good pitch.
I was talking to some guys on the Angels today before the ball game, around the cage, out in the bullpen, and they all said, I tell you what, this lineup, just a very different feel to them than even a year ago, right? A lot of the same faces, but just the progress that I think each individual has made.
Hard shot. Ureña got out of the way of it at the last second. Perfectly positioned Walton. He'll throw to first, 2 down.
I tell you, Chris, I'm not sure if I'm just hearing things. I felt like this may have gotten really close and possibly clipped Ureña. I'm not sure if it hit the glove. Ooh. Very close. And, well, you asked if the red bandana, or if the white bandana was red, if it was black, would it matter? I told you nope. And he's got his red bandana on now.
Soderstrom got hit by Ureña back in the first. He'll get underneath it and pop it up. And out of play. For Ureña, Steve Sachs mentioned no wins on the road this year. 0-4, the 3.86 ERA in 4 starts and 6 appearances. Opponents hitting .277 against him on the road. Ureña's last start in Arizona was a losing effort. As you mentioned, 7 innings, 7 hits, 3 earned runs off of 4. You can see those home and road splits. He has been lethal at Angel Stadium. 1-2, hit to center. Siri moves back, and he makes the catch for the final out. Ureña has sat down the last 8 he's faced. Dino, join us for your chance to win a share of $340,000 on Saturday, June 20th. That's today. Top of the 4th, 2-0 Angels. JT Ginn back to work against 9-1-2, starting with Tyler Heineman, who had a looping double to right in the 2-run second inning. 65 pitches already for Ginn, hoping for a much quicker inning as compared to the second and third, where combined he faced 14 hitters.
Well, he's been navigating.
Weakly bounced. Ginn will grab it bare hand, throw to first, and it's perfect. That's the weak contact he was looking for.
Textbook effort. I think a lot of times you'll see guys kind of speed this up a little more than necessary. But JT Ginn, you see him go down and drive that ball down and pick it up. You know, sometimes you'll see guys try to scoop it, try to gather it with 2 hands, and that ball just, as it's kind of dying, losing its momentum. Tough to scoop. You end up bobbling it.
Neto, wave and a miss on a slider. We know for JT, he's been very good at being efficient. 6 of JT's last 8 starts have been quality starts. Check swing, did he go? Yep, he did. 0-2. And of those 6 quality starts, he's had 2 8-inning performances by generating swings and misses like this. And then 3 starts of 6 shutout innings pitched.
Well, he's a battler, and I think you're seeing that tonight. And this is shaping up to what I think could be what's been called a gutsy performance, right? A performance that you kind of have to grind out. You don't have some of your best stuff, whether it's command stuff or the combination of the 2.
That would kind of fit the story of this series, right?
Well, sure. I mean, look, offensively, you feel like you've done enough to deserve to win ball games. I mean, look, you come out, you blank them on night 1, but it was just really an innings worth of offense that got that job done. And so offensively, you think about trying to grind out game 1, and they were able to do so. Game 2 speaks for itself, mounting a historic comeback. And then tonight, what you're watching unfold with JT Ginn, who has had to kind of weave in and out and dodge some traffic, playing a little Frogger out there.
Don't think it was in the Angels' plans to use 5 different relievers last night. The A's used 4, but they were playing from behind all game long. 2-2 called, strike 3. Neto was thinking something different, and Ginn has 5 strikeouts, something to keep note of.
Well, he knew it. Again, just making a great pitch. Sinker brought back on the black through the back door. Can I help you, Mr. Neto? Yeah. No, thanks. Just looking.
Shonwell 0 for 2 with a strikeout looking and a ground out to first. He'll lift this one in the air. Should be easy enough for Bolte in center. And it is a 10-pitch fourth for JT Ginn in a 1-2-3 inning. Back to the A's bats with Jacob Wilson leading off the bottom of the fourth. Updates and more. Everything an athletics fan needs. The NBC Sports California app. Download it now. I like the bobblehead. It's got his shin guard on there, his stance perfect, even the luscious locks.
I mean, what's not to like about it?
And it is Wilson to lead off the bottom of the fourth. The Angels up 2-0. Oh, heads up.
Well, these fans remember what happened last night, and I think you get a pass last night, understanding that ball likely slipped out of the hand and no intent trying to throw at a guy's head. But now you start thinking about Jacob Wilson, understanding Zach Geloff is out of the lineup today. I start to feel a certain type of way, if you know what I mean.
I don't know how hitters get back into the box and just are expected to reset after something like that. That's off the edge. 2-1.
Well, and if you're trying to see it from both sides, one, from a pitching perspective, if I know that a guy has issues with being crowded or has taken exception to it in the past, guess what's happening? You're going to get crowded.
2-1 pitch underneath it. Well, this is really cool at the beginning of the game, or right before the game. Jacob Wilson's lovely wife, Logan, threw out the first pitch to Jacob on his bobblehead day.
Sling it.
You did it. Good job.
You did it. Good job.
Not a bad pitch either. Two into center, but it'll hang up for Siri, who makes the catch trotting in. Now Jonah Heim. Explains why Logan's pitch was as good as it was. A softball player at Grand Canyon University.
Baller.
Heim tries to show bunt. Didn't expect that. Fouls it away. I know you're an avid fast pitch softball fan at the collegiate level. You're Texas Tech Lady Red Raiders, right?
Yeah, it came up a little short. Rather not talk about it.
Too soon.
A little bit. Little bit. But just like any baseball season or softball season that doesn't work out quite how you want it, you rest, relax, recover, retool, and get ready to ride again.
The amount of alliteration there was impressive.
No, I like the approach there from Jonah Heim, though. Obviously 0-2, that club is now back in the bag, but with the defense position where they were, I mean, they're just handing you a hit. And though he has the ability to drive you out of the ballpark, look, take what's given to you.
It's a player that over his last 15 entering play tonight, 348. An entirely different player after he was claimed by the Athletics. He has fit in so well. Eyes that one low, 2-2. Off the end of the bat, a one hopper to Walton, who moves to his right, throws to first, 2 away. He's no stranger to being down and coming back. 21 come from behind victories this year. 4th most in Major League Baseball. And it's been an all hands on deck effort when they've had to chip away against opponents, and they find themselves in that position tonight, down 2. Good take.
Well, it's an offense packed with plenty of firepower, and that's the kind of feeling you get when your lineup looks the way that the A's lineup does. You don't really feel like you're ever out of the ball game. And I think as we have watched guys start to turn the corner offensively, a guy like Lawrence Butler has made an impact. I mean, I will remind people what Carlos Cortez did in the wake of losing Brent Rooker for a spell. I mean, it just felt like guys have continued to step up and deliver at really important times. Remember the homer that Colby Thomas hit? That was in Chicago. I mentioned it the other day. Just the concentration and what it takes to come off the bench cold or be a player who hasn't gotten consistent opportunities and turn those into opportunities.
Weekly ground at third base side, and Guzman's going to put it in his pocket. Lawrence, who's had a lot of bad luck, gets some good luck there and has an infield knock to set up Bolte with 2 outs.
Well, second one that Lawrence has kind of hit off the cap here, but this one going to find a little space between Ureña and Guzman.
Bolte punched out looking in the 2nd inning. And that's inside. Butler at first. Shonowell holds him on.
No.
Angels have 1 challenge remaining. Was Shonowell, who earlier burned it offensively. So have to be smart with how they use the last one. That's 99 on the sinker. Waved at and missed. Yet Muncy waiting on deck. In a 2-0 game. 67 pitches for Ureña. Bounced foul. So now if you're Bolte at the plate, what are you thinking here?
Well, 2-2, Ureña has continued to try to crowd him. And it might be a matter of where you see him try to spin one away after crowding him in.
Check swing. They don't check him. He's out. Breaking ball got Bolte and strands Butler at first. 2-0 Angels through 4.
You can kick off the holiday weekend with us. That's Friday, July 3rd. We're going to take on the Miami Marlins. You should be here. Why? Well, early arriving fans can score an exclusive A's Country hat, proudly presented by Sky River Casino. Grab your tickets today at athletics.com/promotions.
Old Town popping at Fanny Annie's.
I mean, that Fanny Annie's, your country hat, your cowboy hat, absolutely.
It's a good place to go all across Old Town Sacramento.
I tell you, just sounds like a country hat and Fanny Annie's go together like sarsaparilla and hard candy. You know what sarsaparilla is, Chris?
Isn't it a spice?
You are wrong. Want to try again?
No.
Okay. Soda.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Sidle up to the bar and grab you a sarsaparilla.
The mountain man that you are. 0-2 pitch, fouled away. Fanny Annie's, you're a Fanny Annie's guy?
I mean, I've been once or twice.
Peg you as more of a cabin type of guy.
Enjoy the cabin. Lovely, lovely folks over there at the cabin.
Love the cabin. Pitch outside, 1-2. Again ahead against Grissom, who has punched out twice swinging. That slider has been deadly against Grissom. This time weak contact popped up on the infield. McNeil sprints in, makes the catch, and now let's hear a word from Visit Humboldt.
Are you tasting?
See if JT Ginn can find an answer against Adele in round 3. 80 pitches now. Adele has doubled and singled, 2 for 2 with a run scored. That's a touch off on the slider. 1 ball and no strikes. High and in. 2-0. Well,
I think JT is kind of having that sense, that feeling that Adele has been able to put a good swing on him early in his first at bat. He probably feels like Adele, and I do too, may have gotten a little lucky in his second.
It was well outside of the zone and almost off the cup of the bat, bloops it into right field. Decent pitch, just better contact. Three and one, busted bat, fouled into the seats. He'll need a new piece of lumber.
Well, you've got him sped up inside. And now this is where I think JT Ginn has a couple different options here. You can run a four-seamer up at the top of the strike zone. That's one way to go about it, I guess. Got a lid. But it could be that four-seamer. It could be the slider down and away.
3-2. On the ground to third, 2 hops to Muncy. Loads up to first, and a strong throw for the second out. So 86 pitches for Ginn now.
Well, it'd be really nice to bring the inning to an end here with Meckler and maybe give yourself a shot to go out there and face.
And I think he'll have a chance.
Yeah.
Caught. 1-2-3 inning. Ginn has now sat down the last 7 straight. FIFA World Cup 2026 continues in the United States, Mexico, and Canada. Experience every goal and every celebration exclusively in Spanish on Telemundo and Peacock. 2-0 Angels, bottom 5. Muncy swinging and missing on a changeup, 0-1. Grounded out to third. His first time up, now is behind at 0-2. That's down, 1 ball and 2 strikes. How about JT Ginn in the top of the 5th inning, a 1-2-3 inning. He's retired his last 7.
Well, that's why I called the performance gutsy, really, after that 3rd inning.
That's a good pitch. Power sinker inside, and it struck out Muncy for the first out.
Just elite sequencing there by Ureña. Heineman and Ureña doing a phenomenal job. I mean, it started with the first pitch changeup, and you get back to the fastball, you spin a slider, back to the heater. Able to tie Max Muncy up. That was about as good as it gets.
McNeil bounced out to first and takes strike 1.
You know, that changeup, Chris, I mean, it is one of the elite changeups in all of baseball. And when you go by run value, and it sits at the 4th best changeup in baseball, and he's tied with a few other fellas. You can think about JT Ginn, Brian Baker, Bradley Rodriguez.
McNeil wanted it. Didn't get it, though. It goes foul.
But when we're talking about a pitch that can neutralize an entire lineup, left-handers, right-handers alike, I mean, that's a special offering. And I just want to put into context, because there is what I would call a chasm between the best changeup in baseball and everybody else. Christopher Sanchez, lefty for Philly.
And that one will go down the left field line for a base hit. McNeil hustles into second with a double. There's a little bit of noise. The A's have been able to make some. Now here, second, now approaching 3rd time through the order.
Well, you can see how deep McNeil hits this baseball in the zone. And I mean, it almost looks like a cricket swing. I mean, that is the definition of filleting a baseball. Just cut the inside part of the ball, shot down that left field line. Now you've got a chance to open some things up here.
Kurtz will swing and miss.
I mean, look at this swing. Slice. I mean, that is just a Ginsu job. Ooh.
A's haven't had a runner in scoring position since the 1st inning, where they had the bases loaded and just 1 out. Couldn't cash in. That was a big swing from Kurtz. Came up empty-handed.
It was. Well, look, it's the 5th inning. That's just their 5th base runner. They had a few of them in the 1st that they were not able to capitalize on. The hit from Butler in the 4th, and now McNeil here in the 5th.
0-2. Climbs the ladder, fouls it back. Double and a strikeout for Kurtz. The former would be ideal. Maybe a little bit more, too. That's a good take, especially the way the changeup is played tonight. Second in all of baseball with runners in scoring position this year. It belongs to the A's first baseman, Nick Kurtz.
Well, hitting over 100 points higher than he did his rookie year with runners in scoring position.
There's no easy way to attack number 16. We know that.
Heineman calling time here.
Down low, 3 balls and 2 strikes. The patient eye at the plate now runs the count full as Langeliers waits on deck.
And I'd be interested to see if they don't just try to oversell another changeup here. If they go fastball, you're likely to see it up, probably under the hands of Kurtz.
3-2. Popped out of play. And it was an elevated fastball.
Well, up, inner third. And the idea is if you feel like you can beat him to the spot under the hands and you have what just happened happen, you can then go back to the changeup. You can stay in that same spot because it's not an easy pitch to get to for Nick Kurtz, just simply because of the velocity. Now, we watched him absolutely torch a fastball from the left-hander Ashby against the Brewers that was chasing him in off the plate.
3-2 again. Swung on and missed a changeup. Got Kurtz. Just a deceptive pitch. 6th strikeout for Ureña. The changeup has done a lot of the legwork.
Oh, it's a monster. It really is. And it's one of those where, you know, you hate to have to tip your cap to a guy because you know you're pretty good too. But in that moment, I think that's what you got to do is you tip your cap and you give credit to Ureña for being able to execute that 2-pitch combination that I was just mentioning. Fastball up, inner third. They executed it. Kurtz was able to fight it off, but Ureña goes back to the bread and butter, to the moneymaker, and that change piece.
He is at 87 pitches, however, in a 2-0 game. A's would love to see the bullpen sooner rather than later. Speaking of bullpens, A's bullpen not active right now. Now 1-2 to Shea Langeliers, who is 0-for-2 with a pair of groundouts. McNeil has been at second for the last out. Langeliers will see another 2 balls and 2 strikes. This inning ends now. Ginn would face 6, 7, and 8. Guzman, Walton, and Siri. Two-two pitch, grounded the other way, in and out of Shonowell's glove, but he'll take it himself, and that will retire this side. So Ureña gets out of a runner in scoring position, and the Angels keep their 2-0 lead. This upcoming schedule is brought to you by Service Champions. Well, 1 more against the Angels tomorrow. And then a road trip in California. 3 against the Giants, 3 against these Angels in SoCal. Then back at home against the Los Angeles Dodgers and a Miami Marlins team that has been frisky and fun this year.
The frisky fish sticks, huh? Dude, you want to talk about locked in and guarding that bobblehead? I love it. I mean, I gotta say, the promotions team has just absolutely crushed it this year.
Yep.
Crushed it. Our man Vito and company have been, I mean, on their best behavior when it comes to the promos, the giveaways. I mean, the in-park entertainment. Strawberry has been just an MVP But I mean, in terms of ballpark experience, coming to the ballpark, the giveaways that they've had on deck for folks.
On the ground to third, Muncy backhands. Off balance throw, nice play by the third baseman. Quick out for JT Ginn.
And this is what we were hoping for, right, partner? If we could get JT Ginn through that 5th inning quietly, which happened, you give yourself a chance now to get through this 6th inning. You're going to see the lower third of this lineup for the 3rd time. And if you're JT Ginn, I think you'll look back on this season, and there's a lot of starts ahead of him still. And we know we're going to see a lot of good performances. But this will be one that you can circle and go back to and say, you know what, this is where.
Swept into right, a base hit for Walton.
This is where I think I learned some things about myself, because I did not have some of my best stuff. I did have to battle early. I was able to rebound and do so. I take a little 5-4-3. How you doing right here? Let Scotty Barlow take his time to get ready for that 7th inning.
First pitch to Siri is down low, 1 ball and no strikes. Well, our superstar David Feldman made a great point about Scott Barlow. Last night might have been the quiet MVP of the game that shut down 8th inning 1-2-3 with a pair of strikeouts, created a lot of momentum for the A's.
Look, I think, you know, Barlow, along with the work that Suarez has done, those are important outs and important innings. And again, while you'd love to go out there and have a scoreless outing each and every time, much like Scott Barlow did last night, the fact that Suarez is able to give you 2 very important innings worth of work, sure, a run attached to it, but you're able to keep the game within that striking distance, and that's the goal, especially when you're eating up innings at that stage in the game.
Pickoff attempt. Back in safely, Walton. There you go. Strike 2. A little arm side run, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a 4-seamer too. Just trying to drive that pitch glove side if you can. And now, depending on what JT Ginn's thinking here, does he want to go over that strikeout? If so, I think you may see the slider. You could see that sinker trying to chase Siri in to get that ground ball double play.
Tipped. Siri will see another. .97 pitches for Ginn. If he doesn't get the double play, is this the last hitter that he faces?
If he gets Siri out, he'll get a shot at Heineman.
Another disengagement. Keeping Walton honest at first base. So Walton will take possibly a slightly larger lead with the 2 disengagements. 2-2. Grounded to third. Muncy will have 1 play to first. A high throw. It pushes Kurtz off the bag. Ginn got the ground ball. Muncy couldn't complete the throw. And it's going to be scored a base hit.
Well, Muncy taking a few steps to his right. And a long throw all the way across the diamond. Marcotte On his way out, going to lift the right-hander. He's going to go to Scott Barlow here. 2 on, 1 out. Scott Barlow against Heineman when we come back. Weekend with Stompin' Sunday. That's July 5th as we wrap up our series against the Marlins. Early arriving kiddos 14 years old and younger can keep the summer vibes rolling with our exclusive A's Pool Float giveaway. Secure tickets for the family today and make it a weekend to remember at athletics.com/promotions.
So 2-0 the score. The Angels lead. 2 on, 1 out, top of the 6th inning. And it is Scott Barlow coming into the game after back-to-back hits for Anaheim from Walton and Siri. It's Heineman coming up now. And for Barlow, 36th appearance, 2-0, 6.06 ERA, but had a very nice 8th inning of work last night with 2 strikeouts. Muncy plays in at third. Barlow from the stretch. Spins a curveball, swung through and missed, 0-1.
Well, that's the line right now for JT Ginn is responsible for the 2 runners on base.
Two curveballs in a row, 2 good results, 0-2. Barlow's 0-2. Backdoored, and Langoliers is going to go challenge here.
Well, it was very, very
Previous pitch is
close.
the ball. The catcher has challenged.
It's a big challenge in this game.
Oh,
The pitch is a ball. The Athletics retain 1 challenge.
I mean, that is those are heartbreakers.
Less than 1/10 of an inch. One and 2. Fly to right, but out of play, foul. Heads up.
Look out.
Into the camera well.
Looks like everybody's all right.
Mike Maddox is okay. The trainer's okay. Camera crew is okay. Fearless, the camera crew in West Sacramento. Check swing. Did he go? No, he did not.
Yep, Heineman hit the brakes. Just barely.
Two and 2 to Tyler Heineman. Poked into right. In comes Butler. He slides and traps it. It drops down. Bases loaded. Zach Neto coming up. 3 straight hits.
Well, Heineman staying in the fight, able to spoil a couple, and now able to settle this up just in front of Lawrence Butler, who fortunately able to knock it down, keep it in front of him, keep it playable. Everybody up just 1 base, but now you've got a tough customer in Zach Neto.
Taken high, 1-0.
Well, Chris, clearly a big spot in the ball game right now. You would love to have yourself a ground ball and get out of this, but Neto has swung the bat well over his career with bases loaded. .414 average, got a grand slam.
Can't hang one here.
No. And this is where for Scott Barlow, who is a master supinator, likes to spin the breaking ball, you got to be pinpoint.
Kurtz playing in at first. Barlow from the stretch, 1-1. That's a good pitch. Locked him up on the curveball, 1-2. Now where do you go here?
Well, this is where Scott Barlow is great at stretching the strike zone. And I think you work off of where you were able to land that one, which is front door. And now if you can, you almost use that breaking ball as a changeup of sorts. Try to take him for a walk a little further out there.
1-2 on the ground at third, off of Muncy's glove into left. That's going to score a pair at least. Angels double, air total 4-0. He got the ball on the ground. Muncy couldn't get to it.
Well, this is just about Zach Neto able to stay back and get around the breaking ball. And you see Muncy selling out, laying out. That ball just popped up and over the glove.
So 4 straight hits now. And Shanoel is up. Make that 5. 2 more are going to score. And what was once a 2-0 game is now 6-0. Wow.
It can happen quickly. Shanoel just turning on a pitch up, and that's why I said if you're somebody who likes to spin the breaking ball, maybe you don't have that overpowering fastball in tow. You got to really be able to put the ball where you want, and even when you do, if guys aren't necessarily threatened by velocity, they feel like they can even sit on some of the soft stuff and adjust to the fastball, which is kind of a backwards way of thinking about it. You know, in today's day and age, guys so often stay on the heater, right? Mentally, I want to stay on the fastball, geared up for the velocity, and then I'll make my adjustment to the breaking balls. And I think when the scouting report tells you that, hey, you're going to get a bevy of breaking balls and really just a fastball to show here and there, you don't necessarily have to sell out to the fastball because, 1, you don't see it a lot. 2, you're not really threatened by it. And look, I know what that's like, being a guy who was somebody who wasn't threatening in terms of the fastball. So I understand the value of having to, you know, really pitch to the peripheral but execute.
It's the ground ball the A's needed about 3 batters ago. They get the second out. Advancing to third, Shanoel. Well, there is some good news. Astros lost 8-1 at home against the Guardians today. Rangers lost 6-4 at home against San Diego. Last time I checked, Seattle is down at home against the Red Sox 5-1.
Oh.
Well, the A's had a 7+ run comeback last night. Now they're going to have to try and mount a 6-run comeback starting in the bottom of the 6th.
Light work.
Remember, the bottom of the 6th is where the offense started for the Athletics.
True story, Chris.
Think about who's coming up, Dallas. Soderstrom, Wilson, and Heim.
Liddell chipping away here. It was Butler who led off that 6th inning last night.
Payoff pitch. Fly ball to left. It will hook foul. Another positive here is with the activity going on in the bullpen for the Angels, you likely see Urania no more tonight.
Well, this is where you start to match up. If you're Mark Kotze, you've got 3 right-handers. Or excuse me, 2 right-handers, a couple left-handers. You've got Cortez, Colby Thomas, Alika Williams. Iloff unavailable, I would assume.
3-2, wave and a miss. Bleeding stops. After a 4-run, 5-hit 6th inning, the Angels lead 6-0.
This powerful performance is brought to you by Xfinity. Well, Urania back at it again. 5 shutout innings for the right-hander, 6 strikeouts. 90 pitches, did walk a guy. Just 4 hits scattered about for the right-hander. Fastball changeup combination was outstanding once again. It's now 11 shutout innings against the Athletics for Urania, who's going to turn it over to the southpaw we saw at the end of the ball game last night. Had some tough luck. Sammy Natara Jr. 5th appearance for the left-hander out of Kurt Suzuki's bullpen.
On his 4th appearance, saw Kurtz and walked him with the bases loaded to end the ball game. Now a much more comfortable situation. As it's 6-0. This is an A's crew that's been silenced essentially since the 1st inning, where they put 3 on with just 1 out and didn't score. They're hoping maybe someone out of the bullpen doesn't have the same stuff as Urania. Jeff Hartlieb will begin to warm up in the A's bullpen again. Spun back foul here at the A's radio booth.
Well, gotta believe this will be Hartlieb's game.
Natara Jr. set at his belt. High, 3-2. The A's didn't get all of their runs back at once. They chipped away. And it was guys like Wilson, Muncy, Heim did a lot of the legwork. 3-2. Tyler pops it up and out of play into the seats. See that note. 10 come from behind wins for the Angels, 21 for the A's. Three and two, fouled off. This is an Athletics offense. 2 entering play tonight have the second best team average when they are down in baseball, 259.
Well, there's some grinders, and I think that's when you talk about taking on a personality or developing a personality as a club. It's something that you like to see. Unfortunately, Soderstrom here. It's a fastball that just driven glove side from the left-hander. Left on left, hard four-seamer away at the top of the zone. Tough to get to.
Well, Boston can hold on against Seattle. It will remain just a half game out of first place, but in games like this where all 3 other division opponents are losing or have lost, you'd love to take advantage of that, and it just seems like no one in the American League West has really run away with it. And Seattle has had opportunities, no doubt about it, especially in the month of May, and the A's have been able to chip back away and find themselves in second place, back at 500 after the gutsiest win of the year last night, especially at home. You just wonder who's going to take hold of the division and run with it.
Well, it is more than up for grabs at this point.
1-1 to Wilson, on the ground to third. Guzman cuts it off, moving to his left, throws to first, 2 away. Now let's hear a word from Jack in the Box.
Get fired up with my new Hot Ones Munchie Meal with a Sriracha Curly Fry Burger or Buffalo Chicken Tater Melt.
Welcome to Jack in the Box.
Heim was swinging for the fences. 0-1.
Jonah talking about that location. Close? Close.
The way Heim's swinging the bat, it's hard to take him out of the lineup and use him as a bench bat, especially with the absence of Rooker. It seems like whether it's been Cortez, now Heim, guys have stepped up. But he can't there. He'll swing and miss. Natera Jr. a 1-2-3 6th inning of relief with a pair of strikeouts. Let's go to the 7th.
Tonight, we're proud to recognize Sisters of Nia as our nonprofit partner of the game. They dedicate their mission to empowering middle school girls living in urban communities. By teaching leadership development and academic excellence, they encourage young ladies to live life with a purpose. See how they are instilling strong life skills by visiting sistersofnia.org. Well, it'll be right-hander Jeff Hartlieb on the mound here to start the 7th inning. Hartlieb's got some big league experience, 68 appearances at the big league level. Man drafted originally back in 2015 by the New York Mets. That was in the 37th round, went back to school. Picked up in the 29th round by the Pirates. That was when he would decide to sign. Got to the big leagues in 2019 with the Pirates. The extended look in the big leagues that year. 29 ball games under his belt, 35 innings.
He's been really good for the AAA Las Vegas club. Gets the ball on the ground. That's one out. In 16 appearances and 3 starts with Las Vegas, 4-0, 3.48 ERA. When asked about Jeff Hartley, Mark Kotze said, "We identified him as a guy that we knew that we would use at some point at the major league level. He accepted the minor league assignment, went down there, went to work, and one thing that really stood out was the amount of strikeouts as compared to walks. 10 walks, 41 strikeouts in 16 appearances, and 33 2/3 at that ballpark."
Which, as A's fans, if they were unfamiliar with, got a taste of. So I think if you can take care of business yourself, meaning
Guzman in the air to left. Soderstrom will watch it fly. Second home run of the year, second in as many games, and now Anaheim leads by a touchdown and an extra point.
Well, it looks like Guzman just caught a slider, clipped it out front.
Now Walton, that's down into the corner, and Walton has a 3-hit performance. Where has he been the last 2 nights? 5th straight game with an extra base hit.
Well, I think it's fair to say, thank goodness he's been on the bench. Walton, the drive down the line. This Angels offense persists.
You know, this offense has to be frustrated with the performance they put up last night. 11 runs off of 11 hits, including 5 home runs. The offense did more than enough to try and secure victory. It's just that the A's late arriving offense did better. So you can sense some frustration. And they have now scored 7 runs off of 12 hits. But of those 12 hits, surprisingly, Guzman's home run this inning was the first for the Angels tonight.
Yeah, more than fair to say that if you were on the losing side of the ball game last night, a lot of frustration from an offensive perspective, because yeah, 11 runs, more than enough to win a ball game. They got a little action. It's Zephyr starting to loosen.
Try swings for Alika.
Stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
Popped up, shallow right, out goes Kurtz and McNeil, in comes Butler. He'll have final say and make the catch. Well, if the scoreline holds, the A's still will have a chance to try and win the series tomorrow. Best the Angels can do is split. They win tonight and win tomorrow afternoon. But it has been a long time since the A's have claimed victory in a series here in West Sacramento. A very long time. As mentioned before, the A's have not won their last 6 series played here ballpark in West Sacramento. Despite that, they're a 500 team right now,
which is, I think, saying a lot.
Well, you remember last year, DB, one of the main struggles for the A's, especially in the first half, was performing on the road and at home, but really on the road. Now it's reversed. Struggles lie at the home ballpark, but the success has been found away from the 916.
See the team ERA here at home, just north of 6. But away from this ballpark, a very, very respectable 3.67. And something you do have to remember is attached to that home ERA is that week spent in Las Vegas.
Now there's a tough one at the very end.
Well, first one was a bit of a doozy as well.
I tried to delete that from my mind.
Yeah, well, it counts in the in the stat sheet. But I'm with you.
Three and two, payoff pitch down low. Hartlieb will see Neto, who had, I think, the biggest swing of the night. That 2 RBI double that opened up the game, made it 4-0 Angels, and tagged JT Ginn for a few runs.
No question.
Got to buckle down here. There's a strike. Defensive swing fouled away. So 1-2, Neto behind in the count.
Well, and Chris, depending on what this offense is able to do, you know, if you climb back in it, and Hartlieb does have an extended inning, and that pitch count starts to ratchet up a bit, obviously you take into consideration the usage. You know, I'm not going to be able to overlook it. Zach Neto is wearing the highest baseball pants I think I've ever seen.
Popped up. More than Carlos Santana? It's caught by Soderstrom. Well, an astute observation as always from our own mayor of Stockton, Dallas Braden.
Of the Athletics and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Athletics.
On this date in 2008, that was Kurt Suzuki's walk-off double against the Marlins. Suzuki became the second of 3 Oakland catchers to have a 4-hit, 5 RBI game. The others, Gene Tennis in 1973 and Josh Fegley in 2019 with a 4-hit, 8 RBI game in Pittsburgh. Colby Thomas has grabbed a bat. 7-0. He'll get it in the air to right. It will hang up for Adele, who makes the catch. Dallas, I was doing some quick math. And with the 7-0 scoreline being the way that it is, opponents on this homestand have outscored the A's 38-27. It's a 9-run difference. And this is the 6th game of this homestand with 1 remaining to play, but that kind of shows you how it's been at this ballpark this year for the Athletics in their hopes to get more wins.
Well, it hasn't been easy. I mean, that's more than fair to say.
Bolte punches that into right center, a base hit. He'll get aboard.
Bolte just fighting a fastball off here and thankfully able to find a little space. We talked about how the 6th inning was when you started to build a little momentum in last night's ball game, but then the 7th and the 8th and the 9th inning, all 3 of those innings is where you really started to see the offense breathe a little life. I'm okay if it's Max Muncy performing a little CPR here an inning early than he did last night.
Well, we all know the magic of a 12-11 walk-off victory last night, but I was talking with Ken Korak before the game today, and the 12-11 scoreline is not unfamiliar to the A's in terms of walk-off fashion. The 1-1 comes in. I think you remember big swing from left-handed first baseman, maybe on a long win streak. Scott Hatteberg.
Hattie. Into the night sky. Talk about electric. Oh.
It was loud last night. I can't imagine how loud it was in that ballpark. All of the things on the line for that season, the team that was constructed, the team that was not expected to do much at all, and they did way more and then some. Talking with a few friends that live on the other side of the Tower Bridge. They were working and they said they could hear this crowd last night all the way over the bridge across the river. That's how electric it was.
Well, Chris, I make my way home on the scooter nightly, and there's some folks who sit out on their front porch and watch the ball game, and they're typically out there after the game. Win or lose, they're out there hanging out. And they had quite the smiles on their face.
Is that going to get out of play? Yes, it is.
They had the chance to.
Is there any music playing for you? Out of that, is it a scooter or motorbike?
Scooter, not a motorbike. Scooter, electric scooter. But yes, music.
But you sit on it, it's got 2 wheels. It looks like a motorcycle.
Sure.
3-2. Punched foul. Nice fight. Runner going, it's outside. Muncy, great plate appearance, keeps the line moving. Now McNeil. He's going to get lifted for Alika Williams. comes Kurt Suzuki. Maybe a little checkers match here. He's looking down there, and he finally makes the point. Natera Jr.'s evening is done with 2 on and 1 out. And Alika Williams coming up, a 7-0 game. Enter Ryan Zeferjahn. Baseball is brought to you by Tri-Counties Bank, California's local bank.
A's fans, you can celebrate America's 250th right here at the ballpark as we host the Marlins. Bring the whole family out for an unforgettable evening of high-energy baseball. Stick around after the final out for our spectacular post-game Patriotics fireworks show presented by Northern California Chevy Dealers. Lock in your 4th of July plans right now at athletics.com/promotions. Well, he's looking for a little fireworks of their own here in the 7th. Both managers playing a little matchup game. Alika Williams on for Jeff McNeil and Ryan Zeferjahn in place of the left-hander Natera. Be the 30th appearance for Ryan Zeferjahn.
Called strike. Alika doesn't challenge, might have had a case. A's do have 1 remaining, as do the Angels. Quickly behind at 0-2. Haven't seen Alika this series. That was quick.
Well, Zeferjahn came in and did exactly what you need to do in a spot like this. He's starting to mount just a bit of a little threat. You got a couple runners on, less than 2 outs. Come in, command your secondary stuff, fill up the strike zone, you get some swing and miss.
This is the part of the order that if you're going to make any noise, this is 4th time up now. Now a different pitcher in Zeferjahn. Zeferjahn did appear in game 1. First and second, 2 outs. Kurt's 1 for 3 tonight. He was hunting, missed the sweeper. In on his hands. Zeferjahn has fared just a touch better against left-handed batters. 161 opponent average. Righties 172.
Fairly dominant is what that tells you.
It's up high, 3 balls and 2 strikes, so both runners at first and second will get a head start. Has not allowed a hit in each of his last 5 outings. Pitch to Kurtz. It is low, and he will draw a walk. Bases loaded for Langeliers. 3 grand slams on his career. Let's look at him.
Well, this is the right man in the right spot. Hit his first one back in 2024. And then you remember the game against Tarek Skubal where the A's just took him to the woodshed. And then at the beginning of this season, off to a ridiculously hot start was Langeliers.
Shea has grounded out 3 times in his career with the bases loaded. 239, 3 grand slams. He's 2 for 6 with a grand slam and 6 RBIs this year in spots like these. That's a strike. You'll see a lot of the sweeper, nearly 35% usage, and he backs that up with a four-seam fastball at around 30%. 1-1, ground ball up the middle, moving over Walton. Gathers, throws, Shea's out. A's strand 3 runners. 7-0.
A's Baseball is brought to you by Toyota. Class-leading MPG and more hybrid models than any other brand. Toyota, let's go places.
Seven 0 Anaheim, top of the 8th inning. The A's had the bases loaded and a chance. Couldn't scratch across any runs. And it's Shonowell up, hitting it to center. 1 pitch, 1 out for Hartlieb. There's Colby Thomas in right. Alika checks in at second. What the A's want to avoid is being shut out here at home.
Yeah, it's not that you're hunting these small victories, but I think that's clearly a goal. But you want to win the ball game, and I know coming off a ball game that ended the way it did last night, feels like you're maybe asking for a lot.
Grissom to center. Bolte, good jump on the ball. 2 quick outs. Guess who's here? It's the future Pirates Hall of Famer Jack Wilson here for his son's bobblehead night. What a proud moment for him.
Jay Willie with a Jay Willie bobblehead.
Can't help but smile today. You told me when you were growing up you wanted to be in a video game. I feel like a bobblehead has to be on that bucket list once you get to the big leagues. Have your own bobblehead being distributed out to the crowds. People keep that as a collector's item. It appreciates a lot over time.
Yeah, it was something that I, as a young kid, I didn't have bobbleheads. I had baseball cards, I had posters, and I had video games, and that was a huge motivating factor for me to get to the big leagues, because that's how you get those, right? You get a baseball card when you become a big leaguer. You get a poster when you become a big leaguer. And they weren't making video games of high school baseball players, college baseball players, minor league, but you got to get to the big leagues.
Now there's a video game for everything, it seems.
Backyard baseball.
Pablo Sanchez, come on. 2-2 pitch. That one's well struck to right center field. That's going to bang up against the wall. Bolte to it quickly, turns and throws into second. And Adele has his third hit and second double of the game. A 2-out knock to move it forward to Meckler.
No, Adele missed twice tonight. He's driven the ball up that right center alley.
Going back to that point of being shut out at home, it's happened only one other time this year, and it was the first series of the year against Houston, where the Astros won 11-0.
Well, there's just something that stings You know, not only being shut out, but being shut out at home. Feels like somebody just walked in, punched you in the mouth, took your video game controller, took the game over. You had nothing to say about it.
Inside corner, strike three. Hartlieb deals with the runner on second. A scoreless eighth. Soderstrom, Wilson, and Heim in the bottom of the eighth. It's brought to you by Toyota. 7-0. Urania, 5 innings scoreless. JT Ginn, 5 1/3 with 4 earned runs. Hayes 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position. Had chances in the first and the 7th. Both bases loaded chances. Could not cash in either inning.
Well, and I go back to that first inning where, I mean, leadoff double by Kurtz. Langoliers with a ground ball out to third. Kurtz unable to advance, and then from there, Soderstrom gets drilled. Jacob Wilson able to find grass with a knock. But remember, it was a hit that Kurtz kind of had to hold up on to make sure that was down in front of Siri, who did clip it with the glove, but because it was kind of that tweener, whether it was going to be caught or not, Kurtz not able to break and probably score. Soderstrom down on strikes. And then from there, you come up empty. So you're threatening early. You have Urania on the ropes early. But he was able to kind of build some momentum after wiggling out of that jam. And then frankly, from there was never, again, really in any sort of serious trouble. I mean, just 2 other base runners against Urania after that. So as much as we talk about the gutsy performance from JT Ginn grinding 5 1/3 out, it was Urania who was able to settle down and quiet the A's offense after a bumpy first inning.
On the ground foul. Well, we find silver linings on this broadcast. The Mariners lost tonight.
Take that.
So the A's will remain at half a game back. Mariners now at 39 and 39. So they're at 500. That would mean, Dallas, there is not one team in the American League West that is above 500 right now.
Yep.
What a unique division. Swing and a miss. Back-to-back strikeouts for Zeferjan. But it goes back to what we were talking about. No team has taken hold and has really commanded the pace of the division. Seattle's had the lead for a little bit, but really not a commanding lead, especially for a team that many thought would be the runaway favorite. The way Cal Raleigh and the rest of the pitching staff performed last year just hasn't been the case offensively at times. Pitching has been good. Now they're doing that piggyback option through the All-Star break.
And you know, it's something that I know. Look, as a pitcher who has come up and been used to a certain routine, it can throw you off a bit because your preparation is now different. But, and I know that there's been a lot said about the piggyback. One thing you have to consider is what is being watched and what is being seen across baseball, and that's the maximum effort, right? The max output on the mound.
It's going to hang up in the air for Adele. 1, 2, 3/8 for Zeferjan. Let's go to the 9th.
Ford dealers. Chris, we were talking about when the game started to open up, maybe get away from the A's. It was Shonowell with a 2-run double, or excuse me, Neto with a 2-run double, and then Shonowell would step right up after that and follow suit. And that's where we saw the score go from 2-0 to 6-0 quickly. Now sitting at 7-0 Angels as we enter the top of the 9th. Hartley still out there for the Athletics. It'll be Guzman, Walton, and Siri for the Halos.
7-0, huh? Getting your soccer terminology together.
I mean, it's just something that, you know, something that you say as a lifelong soccer fan since last year. You know the terms. World Cup fever.
First pitch popped into right. Thomas broke back. Now Alika, long way to go. Alika Williams makes a nice basket catch.
What a play. I mean, see Alika kind of gesture like, hey, my bad there, but I don't know that Colby Thomas was going to have a chance at it.
You could hear Kurt saying,
leak, leak, leak.
Donovan Walton has had a wonderful night. 3 for 4, 2 singles, a double, a run scored, an RBI. His slugging percentage now at a .907. Or OPS, excuse me, at a .907. The A's to come up in the bottom of the 9th. Butler, Bolte, Muncy. It will be Colby Thomas. Excuse me, for Butler. There's someone cranking in Anaheim's bullpen. Speaking of crank, Donovan Walton smacks it to center, but Bolte's right there. Well, after that 7th inning from Hartlieb, where he gave up a solo home run and a double, he settled in quite nicely.
Well, he did. You talked about the strikeout numbers, just the strikeout to walk. And I think, you know, coming up and trying to help the big league club at a time where you've been throwing the ball well, you know, it's one thing to get the call purely out of necessity. It's another, I think, for it to be double-edged where, hey, we need arms, but we also love the way you're throwing the baseball. And it's, I think, a performance that has garnered the look, garnered the opportunity. I think it's easy to get caught up in just, you know, needing arms and kind of glossing over what the individual has done.
Wakely grounded to short. Wilson vacuums, throws to first. A 1-2-3 inning for Hartley. One more chance for the A's. They're down by 7.
The race to the Midsummer Classic is on. Shea Langoliers is currently leading the voted catcher, while Nick Kurtz holds strong in 4th place over at first base. So, as you know, every vote counts. You can vote up to 5 times daily to get your A's into the starting lineup. Phase 1 ends Thursday, June 25th at 9 a.m. Pacific. So visit athletics.com/vote and send the green and gold to Philly. I mean, it's fitting. The city of brotherly love could use a couple teammates. Langoliers and Nick Kurtz clearly both very, very deserving to start that ball game. He's got the big Amish vibes going. Remember that fella right there, Chris, I got to hang out with today before the ball game. His boys Hank and Roscoe, a couple of all-stars from Fair Oaks Little League. Hank is actually the young man who caught the Max Muncy home run ball in Las Vegas. Grandma and Grandpa said, hey, get on a bird. We're going to watch some baseball in Vegas. Flew him in for the day, caught a ball game, caught a homer. Hank and Roscoe both all-stars this year.
Elite baseball names, Hank and Roscoe.
Hank and Roscoe, both their teams won today. So congratulations to a couple all-stars and their teammates.
Thomas up for a second time, came off the bench in the 7th, pinch hit for Butler, flew out to right. Thomas, Bolte, and Muncy. Two and two this time. Heineman able to hang on. Thomas is down on strikes. The Angels are 2 outs away from a shutout victory against the A's.
Remember Kirby Yates, beginning of his career, one of the dominant arms, the back end of the bullpen.
He's been a very attractive free agent reliever over the last few off seasons for that exact reason.
Kirby, one save away from a nice round 100 in his career.
I believe he will get to that mark this year.
Good chance.
Off the end of the bat, Guzman spins, throws to first. Denzer Guzman has been very good defensively at third base in this series. 2 down. And Muncy is the lifeline to keep the game alive.
Yeah, he's been pretty good tonight over there.
Seven runs off of 13 hits for the Angels. No runs off of 5 hits for the A's. There's strike number 2. Muncy now behind at 1-2. So Yates 1 strike away from helping the Angels win their 31st game of the year. And he'll get it. Striking out Muncy, 1-2-3 with a pair of strikeouts. Yates closes the door. And the Angels win 7-0. Second time the A's have been shut out at home this year, both by a division opponent. Not the best tonight. Offense just didn't have it after a very good game last night. A come-from-behind victory. Just couldn't muster much of any offense whatsoever. And the Angels offense with 13 hits, really, that told the story.
Yeah, and I think something else that told the story was how Urania was able to settle down. We talked about it, how the first inning was probably their best chance to get to the right-hander, but he was able to navigate some traffic and from there just put it in cruise control. Got through 5 solid innings. The bullpen for the Halos was able to back that up with a great performance of their own, and the offense for the Angels, Chris, as you mentioned, just able to deliver a couple big punches when they needed to, able to clear the bases and keep the line moving, and that's why the score looks the way it does today. But you know what? There's a chance to get right back at it tomorrow.
Speaking of tomorrow, Reed Detmer.
The Angels, Chris, as you mentioned, just able to deliver a couple big punches when they needed to, able to clear the bases and keep the line moving, and that's why the score looks the way it does today. But you know what? There's a chance to get right back at it tomorrow.
Speaking of tomorrow, Reed Detmers takes the ball for the Angels. He's been solid this year. He'll take on Jack Perkins in the series finale, where the A's look to win their first home series in West Sacramento since late April. Well, that's it for us, folks. Stay tuned. A's Cast on NBC Sports California with Chris Townsend and Steve Sachs.